Don't adjust your sets. Newcastle United have only gone and won a game of football. Who would have thought that after the first half? So much to get through in so little time for these 15 minutes. Get your comments in. How do you rate that performance? There's only one. Well, there's a couple of guys that really stole the show today. One of them came off the bench, and we all know who that is. As I say, so much to get through. Let's take it from the top. Just the two expected defensive changes from Steve Bruce. Lascelles and Kraft make way for Clark and Fernandez. I mean, let's just cover the first half first. How much of a miss was Jamal Lascelles at the back? I mean, he gets some stick every now and again, but I'd much prefer him on the pitch than off it. Defence was all over the place first half. The whole team was all over the place the first half. Absolutely woeful. I was getting ready to slaughter Kieran Clark at half time because it just made me go back to think of them comments he made after the Brighton game about not being able to get up for games like that. It looked pretty similar after that first half. It was just nothing about that performance showed any positivity in the first 45 minutes. It was absolutely dreary, woeful. And that Burnley side was obviously there for the taking today. No Pope in goal for Burnley. That makes you sit up straight away. Really inexperienced keeper that we didn't test in the first hour of the game, really. And it was only going one way. The goal we conceded was an embarrassment. Clark not just shepherd Wood down to the line and pushing back to the corner. Don't let him whip the ball into Vydra, who's a championship striker. And that is all of a sudden got like 3 goals in 5 games in the Premier League now. It was terrible, terrible. We knew the subs were going to happen. It was just a case of how long would Steve Bruce sit and dawdle. Fortunately, he gave it 10 minutes. We didn't improve in them first 10 minutes of the second half. We still looked terrible. And the changes were made. So credit to Bruce for making them so early, because you and I both know he does not make changes early enough sometimes. Toby is spot on. That VAR decision was just an absolute joke. All right, it's worked out well now. And let's not detract from what was an awful first half performance. But if that happened anywhere on the pitch, the Sean Longstaff incident and Tarkowski, if that happens anywhere else on the pitch, it's a free kick. It's a free kick that you don't even think about. You don't even think about it. It's just a clear free kick. And the fact that it's then gone and been checked by VAR, everyone saw it. Everyone had a good look of it. It always looks worse in slow motion as well. You think, well, this is clearly going to be turned over and given as a penalty. And for it not to happen was just an absolute farce. And it's no wonder why VAR is treated with just such utter contempt from fans now, because there's just no consistency. No consistency at all. I mean, look at the Wolves game Friday night as well with that goal they had disallowed. And I don't think anyone realised just how close the offside was for when Gale did actually put the ball in the net a few minutes previous to the penalty incident. But did we deserve anything out of that first half outside from that incident? No, we were terrible. And it was a championship game of football. And it was just an absolute disgrace. The changes were made, and my God, it just opens your eyes to just how much we rely on ASM and Wilson, because although Wilson didn't do a lot today, it was quite clear he wasn't fully fit. His presence, and the same with ASM, their presence gives you a psychological lift. The players feel it. We feel it at home. It makes you sit up. And it was just so apparent. ASM completely changed the game. Jinking run. Burnley don't like players that run at them, which is why I was a bit disappointed with Almiron today. I thought he was largely anonymous. I wasn't too chuffed with him, I'll be honest, but I'll go into that into a bit more detail later on in scoring the players. ASM running at that Burnley defensive just stood off, which was just such the wrong thing to do. Nothing happening in the box, lays it back to Jacob Murphy, who was one of the main kind of culprits for a terrible first half display. Absolutely buries it. Gretz is shot off perfectly towards the far post. The young keeper had no chance, and it was just, as soon as that goal went in, I fancied us to get another. And again, ASM running at that Burnley defence, who just stood off and stood off. No one was putting a challenge in. The same thing happened when we played them at home. I mean, you could almost put a mirror in between them two goals that he scored today and at St James's earlier on in the season. They're pretty identical, if not on the other side of the pitch. They're just running at them, backing off, gets his shot away and bends it in towards the near post. The keeper, again, he wasn't saying no, he was getting nowhere near it. And that was that. Then you're then left with 25 minutes of a lot of nerves when you've only won 2 games in the previous 21, 22. He really was in a league of his own, Colin. He completely changed that game. Wow. And absolutely spot on, Barbara. Martin Dubravka showed why he is Newcastle United's number 1 keeper today. Spared Paul Dummett's blushes in the first half. Dummett nearly got the own goal. He was poor in the first half as well. Most of them were poor. And then the second half, commanding presence in the box. Distribution was a little bit off at times, but the amount of corners Burnley had and the amount of pressure they put on the keeper, Westwood floats them in close to the goalkeeper. He's always done the same. Always done that back when he was at Villa, even when he was back in the day at Crewe. That's what he always does, floats the ball in from the corner and makes you put pressure on the goalkeeper. Dubravka stood firm, whether it was catching or whether it was getting a good punch away. He was absolutely immense for us, especially when we were hanging on, managing the game. There was an argument for maybe do you take an Almiron off with 15 minutes to go, bringing on another defender, a Kraft or a Manquillo. I probably would have favoured Kraft, to be honest, and stuck him right back, just for that, as he's a bit more defensively solid than Manquillo. Yeah, there was an argument for that, but we didn't. We managed the game. We saw it out. I thought when we went 2-1 up, I thought Sean Longstaff was absolutely immense in the centre of midfield, breaking things up. I thought he was absolutely superb. Fluffed his lines a bit when he had that chance that then fell to ASM. And we could have won it at the end with Almiron as well, with that off the line. But I thought Sean Longstaff, in particular, second half, and when we went 2-1 up, I think he was crucial in keeping that scoreline, that maintaining 3 points, which has been an absolutely huge week for Newcastle. The 1892 pledge from the Supporters Trust this week. Great to see a lot of positivity around on social media. Wolves did us a huge favour beating Fulham on Friday night. We all know we went into this game now with 2 games in hand. We took the chance. This, on paper, looked our most winnable game for a while. Shelby never made a bad pass. Second half, he was better. First half, he did make some bad passes. But who cares? We said in the preview, myself and Lee, we said a couple of things, actually. Both came to fruition. One, we both said that we wanted ASM to come off the bench. And look what happened. Obviously, there's an argument for saying he should have started, but I don't think he's fully fit to start yet. And of course, performance didn't matter today, in essence. It's all about them 3 points. The performance wasn't great. We deserved it from the second half. It was much improved, and obviously ASM, spoiler alert, if I get ASM on scoring the place, he's getting a 10 out of 10. But it was just one of them, just get the win, especially after Brighton. Brighton made this game huge. And now all of a sudden, does that bring Burnley back into the mix for the relegation? It means it's no longer a 2-horse race. It's a 3-horse race again, maybe a 4, because level on points with Brighton, they've still got to play. So Willock didn't come on today. Possibly unfortunate, but when we went 2-1 up with such little time left, that isn't the time for him to play. I think if we were still chasing the game with 20 minutes to go, then you would have seen Willock. I don't doubt that for a minute. But yeah, once we went 2-1 ahead, there's just no, it doesn't matter. It was all about the 3 points. And I thought Steve Bruce was even taking the piss at the end out of Burnley there. We're bringing Jeff Hendrick on with 30 seconds to go. That's normally Andy Carroll's job. But no, but there we go. I mean, what a relief. What a relief. Take a breath. 6 points clear now with a game in hand still. All right, the game in hand at Liverpool. But on paper, it looks like, I mean, Fulham are now massive favourites to go down. It's going to be a tough few weeks. I mean, West Ham, who have just kicked off against Leicester, they're going for Champions League places. We've got them next week. Do you expect to get anything from that? Our record at home to West Ham isn't the worst. I don't want to get carried away, but more minutes in the legs of ASM and Wilson today, it's huge. It just goes to show just how reliant we are on them pair. We just look a completely different side. So much more intent going forward because there was we created nothing in the first half. Gale and Joe Linton were feeding off scraps. I don't think Joe Linton was that bad today, but he just had nothing. He had to come so deep and try and make stuff happen for himself, which it was a struggle because there was just nothing in midfield creating. Fernandez came in, did well. But again, it's nice now that we've got that gap over Fulham that maybe next week we don't have to look at their game and we don't have to celebrate another team's result. It's a bit of a relief, maybe for a week at least. Please do subscribe. Following on from the watch along with Carl, Brandon, and Johnny, we're so close to 25,000 subscribers. Brandon and Carl will tattoo themselves with the NFTV logo on them on their body if we hit 25k today. I think we're just over 50 away, so it's very doable. But yeah, now we can have it caps off a very positive week. As I say, 1892 pledge. Positivity go around on social media for a change. 3 big points for Newcastle United. Let's keep it going, please. Let's keep it going. No more injuries. Let's start to pick up some more points and put this beyond doubt. So fingers crossed we can get something against West Ham next week, but huge today. Huge. Coming up in 2 minutes' time, Brandon and Matt are live hearing from you guys from all over the globe in the fan reaction show. Get involved. The link's in the description on that video coming up very shortly. Then I'm back with Carl and Johnny for Scoring the Players. And as always, Lee rounds off the day with the last word. It's relief. It's relief more than anything. But we're all delighted. My word, what a result today. What a win, because it did not look likely at all at half-time. But yeah, we get the win. Fan reaction show starting in about a minute's time now, so get on over, get your voice heard on that. Please like and subscribe to NFTV and stay tuned. See you all shortly.